Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. McCants. How are you?
Good. Ken, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is 4:56. We're going to give everyone a chance to jump on as the workday is ending. We will not start any later than 5 after the hour, but thank you so much for being here and being prompt, and we will start shortly. It is now 5 o'clock, and as mentioned previously and just put in the chat, we're going to give all attendees a couple of minutes of grace to jump on the call as the workday is ending. And thank you so much for being prompt. I'm Kiani Igwe with Griffin and Strong, a law and policy firm in Atlanta that's been contracted to do this disparity study. And we'll get started with all the ins and outs of this public meeting in a couple of minutes once we give folks a couple minutes of grace to join us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
If you're just now joining us, we're going to get started shortly. Going to give everyone a couple of minutes of grace before we get started, but we will not start any later than 5 after the hour. All right, everyone, we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. My name is Kiani Igwe. I am a deputy project manager with Griffin and Strong, a law and policy firm in Atlanta that's been contracted by the county to work on this disparity study. This public meeting is a part of our anecdotal evidence collection for the 2022 disparity study, and we're really grateful you're here, as your participation this evening will ensure that the evidence and analysis we gather is as accurate as possible to represent the experience in Guilford County. A couple of notes about expectations or format this evening. The purpose of this is just to gather candid testimony. We want to hear as much as you are willing to share about your experience doing business or attempting to do business with Guilford County. I will prompt you with a couple of questions, but I will not be answering questions this afternoon, as our intention is to gather testimony. I may provide a prompting question to begin conversation or a clarifying question to make sure I understand your comments as I take notes to the side. If you do have questions about the disparity study or about our work with Guilford County, I'll be providing the study email and study website at the end of our time together, and I'm happy to respond to questions there. Everything said this evening will be a part of the public record, as it is a recorded public meeting, but any comments referred to in our final study report will be anonymous. Again, this is just commentary. We're not soliciting questions about the process, but I'm happy to answer questions via the study email or study website after our time together has ended. Because it's for the purpose of public record, we do ask before you start any comment or response to a question or a colleague's comment that you would state your name for the record. Again, my name is Kiani Igwe. I'm super grateful that you're here and excited to hear about your experience doing business in Guilford County. You may notice I take notes a couple of times while you're speaking just to ensure that I understand. And so if you see me writing, I'm not doing something else. I'm just taking notes to make sure I understand the comments and can remember what is shared here. So the first question I'll prompt for everyone is I'd love for us just to begin by introducing yourself by saying your name and either your role in the community or the name of your firm. So feel free to unmute yourself or to raise your hand if that feels intimidating. If you're unable to speak due to your environment, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gary McCants with McCants LLC. I'm part of the support team with Griffin and Strong. Hope everybody's having a good day.
Thank you, Mr. McCants.
Good afternoon. I'm Cynthia Barnes. I'm the MWBE Director for Guilford County.
My name is Cameron Cook. I'm an interested person in this whole process.
Nice to have you, Mr. Cook. Good to see you, Cynthia.
Good afternoon. This is Reggie Ford with RDF Consulting Group. Currently working on a project with Greensboro Water Resources.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here, Mr. Ford.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Amanda McIver with the MWBE office here at Guilford County.
Good afternoon. I'm Gloria Nunes. My company name is G&J Finishing. I'm just a sole proprietorship. I don't work in the county.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
This is Phil Barnhill with East Greensboro Now, a nonprofit CDC here in Greensboro.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Barnhill. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon. My name is Max Sims, and I work with Phil here. We do this work in tandem here in East Greensboro.
Wonderful. Nice to have you both. Thank you so much. We've had all introductions. I'll begin with our first question prompt. Mr. Fairley, please go ahead.
This is Larry Fairley. I'm the founder and CEO of Marketing Resource Solutions. We're a Jamestown-based full-service advertising agency. We specialize in multicultural marketing and diversity, equality, and inclusion advertising efforts. I sit on the board of directors for the Carolinas, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council as well. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Nice to have you, Mr. Fairley. I will start with our first open-ended question and want to reiterate that we're here to hear everything, positive, negative, neutral, and in between. And the first question is, what has been your experience doing business or attempting to do business with Guilford County? What has been your experience doing business or attempting to do business with Guilford County?
I guess I'll speak. This is Reggie Ford again with RDF Consulting Group. I've been working with the Greensboro Water Resources Group as a minority partner for about the last 8 months. I'm working on their water AMI project. And so far, it's been a very good experience.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
This is Larry Fairley. We have not done any business with Guilford County as of yet. We have explored opportunities from time to time. I think that one of the things that for us and the lack of experience in doing business with the county is just making sure that we can understand the process. We do all of our business comes in the private sector. So understanding the process is really important for us.
Thank you, Mr. Fairley.
Well, I have to say I worked for Guilford County in 2011 because I do cleaning services in my company. But I would like to start again. How can I involve in learn? How can I try to be, or how can I learn, get a job with Guilford County again?
So Ms. Nunez, the reason you haven't pursued work with the county again is a misunderstanding about the process, or not quite sure how to initiate that again? Is that my understanding you correctly?
I would like to learn because that's what a long time ago I worked with the Guilford County. That was good experience for me. Sincerely, I was real good. But I would like to I would like to be involved again in the business with Guilford County. But I would like, how can I?
Understood. I'll make sure to connect you with the right people after this call is over to get your specific questions answered, but thank you for your comment. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like most of us have not done business with Guilford County. And what it sounds like either a misunderstanding about how to initiate that or understanding the public sector in general. Is there anyone present on the call who has conducted business with Guilford County outside of Ms. Nunez, who did in 2011?
Yes. In 2011, that was 2011 or 2012. That was many times ago. But I would try to, if you have a class for the small business, because I need to learn more about how can I be in the Guilford County, how can I learn, you see that a lot of paperwork for me, it's a lot of paperwork when you have to be for the Guilford County. Maybe you can have any classes for that, because I need it, really, I need it.
This is Reggie Ford again. I may be the only one on this evening that's currently doing business with Guilford County. And I was able to do that through a partnership with the prime vendor, and was invited to pre-bid meeting, and the prime was selected for the contract. So that's how I got to be involved with Guilford County.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
The one thing that we found, this is Larry Fairley, the one thing that we found in our dealings with not only Guilford County but other municipalities is that clearly because of the size of the contracts in the construction space and the attempts to have inclusion in that space, there's a lot of focus there. And sometimes the area of professional services, it does not end up getting the attention and as it relates to the process and contract awarding in that space as well.
Thank you, Mr. Fairley. As an attempt to continue to solicit commentary, I'm going to prompt us with another question. What has been your impression of the bidding process or the initiating process to pursue business with Guilford County? As we've said, the majority of us have not conducted business with the county, and a couple of you have mentioned sort of the confusion or the process in the public sector, but would love to know even more specifically about your experience, maybe understanding the process or understanding opportunities with Guilford County. What have been your impressions?
This is Reggie Ford again. I guess there's been a couple of ways that I've learned about opportunities with Guilford County. I am on their list, minority list, so I do get emails about opportunities that I could apply for. In addition to that, I get inquiries or solicitations by prime vendors to partner with them to bid on some of the opportunities. So there's been probably a couple of opportunities that I've been involved with as a minority partner with primes bidding for opportunities at Guilford County.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. How would you characterize that experience? Has it been fairly easy to understand? Is it straightforward? How would you characterize that experience of getting the emails of being solicited by prime contractors?
The emails are fine. You know, I can look at the emails and determine whether it's something that I'm qualified or I would like to pursue or not. So I haven't had any issues as far as basic clarity with that.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Mr. Ford.
I can say that I think the pre-bid meetings are very helpful because they give you an opportunity to sit in and understand what the project or request is all about. Also gives you a chance to meet some of the prime vendors. So I think those are very beneficial for us small companies like mine.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much to those of you who have shared so far and provided your commentary. I'd like to reiterate that the participation of everyone present is super essential, as the more people participate, the more anecdotal evidence we gather, and therefore the more accurately the report represents the real experience in Guilford County. So I'm going to lift our two questions again in the chat, and would love to hear as much information as you're willing to provide about your experience doing business in Guilford County and your impressions of learning about opportunities and pursuing opportunities with the county. Thank you so much to Mr. Ford and Mr. Fairley and Ms. Nunez, who have provided your commentary already. We would love to hear from as many people as possible, as much as you're willing to share, to ensure that we gather as much information as possible. So I'll provide those questions in the chat again, so that we can hear from you. If you are in an environment where speaking is difficult or may not be advantageous, please feel free to provide your commentary in the chat. In an effort to honor everyone's time, I don't want to hold us over when it's necessary. While we are scheduled for an hour and a half, if all comments have been provided, we will end this public meeting early. I'd like to provide one final opportunity to provide your commentary, whether that's questions or answers to the questions provided or any other general comments you wanted to make about doing business or attempting to do business with Guilford County. We're happy to hear them. If you think of something later or realize you wanted something that you didn't, we have provided the study email in the chat, as well as Ms. Barnes has provided the direct email for the MWB office with the county if you have questions that are specific to the process. And so I want to provide our last final minutes for commentary around the questions provided or anything else you wanted to make sure you said for the public record, as well as anything you have not yet said. So I want to give us a couple more minutes to hear the final comments. And then if that is all, then we will go ahead and end our public meeting early. But thank you so much for participating and for being here. And I'm willing to hear any and all comments that folks have yet to say.
Hi, this is Larry Fairley. And again, thank you for the opportunity. Needless to say, I think it's important that if doing business, in particular with minority business owners, is important to the county, that the appropriate level of intentionality and resource allocation is really important. And so with that, I think that that'll drive the right level of engagement that could spur business activity for the private sector in conjunction with the county.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Fairley. Well, everyone, we will go ahead and end this public meeting early if there are no more remaining spoken or typed comments regarding the questions provided or about your general impressions of doing business in Guilford County. Thank you so much for being here. We're really grateful for your participation. It is our intention to hold another one of these public meetings in the beginning of the new year. And so you can be on the lookout for that in your emails and via additional methods of promotion. And so we'll be having another one of these. Would love for you to reach out to your colleagues and neighbors so we can get as much information as possible about the experience of doing business or continuing business in Guilford County. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll go ahead and end this meeting here.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
You welcome.